Hello, this is Daniel Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. 4.1.1 PTU is in Evocati testing this weekend, and since as a result most of the attention is going to go in that direction, I think that first I need to do a game design analysis on the main event of 4.1, A Line in Mind. Was it a successful game design? And like any design analysis, the result must be measured against what the goals were when it was created. If you have to say, well, as a helmet, it makes a very good doorstop, it doesn't actually matter if it is an absolutely amazingly good doorstop, the best doorstop ever. It's still a failed design. So, A Line in Mind was presented as a sandbox event. So, first, what actually is a sandbox game? According to Wikipedia, a sandbox game is a video game with a gameplay element that provides players with a great deal of creativity to interact with, usually without any predetermined goal, or with a goal that the players set for themselves. Building from this, I would say the sandbox game should not have a strongly structured path, and that participation in any particular path should not be strongly forced. Now, CIG has done some things in Star Citizen that are weakly structured, like contested zones and jump towns and resupply or die. And then they have also done things that have a lot of sequential structure, like Xenothreat and Siege of Orison. And A Line in Mind, frankly, has a lot more in common with Siege of Orison than it does with Jumptown. To start with, there is a lot of structure. To quickly review, blue cards open locations that yield red cards that yield locations that have computer blades that activate the alignment antenna that give an industrial-sized battery. When all three of the alignment stations are online and the three batteries can be brought to the station, there are additional access cards to get to the location where the laser activation card is obtained, which you can then take to the surface and activate a big mining laser that opens a cave that has the three unique minerals to mine. And let me emphasize uniquely there. And then, after some unspecified period of time, the whole thing would reset without notice. So there is a lot of structured advancement, but all the goodies are at the end. Before that, you have nothing but the excitement of combat and some interesting loot items. But despite a complicated and extensive structure to the event, the presentation of it was created as if it was a sandbox without structure. And that means no notification of the progress that has occurred along that structure path. In Xenothreat, you had Agent Dooley regularly updating you on what was going on and what needed to be done next. In Siege of Orison, you had both Dooley and the regular taunting of the Xenothreat lieutenants to keep you informed about the progress. Or you could just ask in chat and usually get an update if you just arrived. But with A Line in Mind, it is unlikely that you'll get an update from chat because there are 4 different platforms on 2 different moons, and nobody knows anything about the crime stat or org reputation of a random name in chat. So if you or your just arrived team show up at the platform, what do you know? Do you know how many of the ground stations have been aligned? Which ones? How many batteries have been delivered? Is the mining laser been fired? Is the cave open for mining? So, with no status notifications about this very involved sequence of activities, what do? Well, there isn't anything obvious, so just explore around and F around with people. As it is, the one reliable source of revenue from A Line in Mind are the wrecked ships, towing and salvaging the boundless supply of them. And if this was a genuine sandbox without a predefined goal, then just being there to collect the wreckage would be fine. But this is an event with a very strong, nearly mandatory defined goal, mining the only available here ores that are strongly desired by the 2 big quest givers, Wikelo and Rayari. So participation in the full structured event is darn close to mandatory for players. Again, not in keeping with a sandbox event. Now, this isn't to say that there aren't a lot of beautiful things about A Line in Mind mission, mostly to do with level design, art, and visuals. If there wasn't this highly important quest to get the minerals, it might suffice just as a standalone playground. But that would be a different event entirely. Which brings me to the rule that I have for this channel. Never gripe without saying how I would have done it differently. And since this is an already released event, the simplest change is preferable. So I have considered several possibilities. The solution I have is to make it actually 2 events. The first being the align part and the second being the mine part. See, you wouldn't even have to change the name. In the align part, the mission giver, perhaps Wakelo, maybe someone from Oyari, maybe even somebody else, maybe Dooley, who really wants these medals, directs you to activate a particular planetary alignment beacon. Prompts then help you with the steps needed in the current state of the process. Payment points are when the antenna is activated, the battery delivered, and the beam activated, the latter giving payments to anybody of any of the 3 alignment missions underneath it. Then, when the cave is uncovered, a general message goes out to the shard from the mission giver that a new location has been uncovered for the rare materials that we are purchasing. Accept and get the coordinates. Now comes the real sandbox phase. Do you cooperate and mine as fast as possible, knock off others in order to dominate the mine yourself, devote some of your group to protection rather than mining, or just pirate those leaving and steal the fruits of their labor? A classic Jumptown-style sandbox event with mined gems instead of drugs. Meanwhile, the first part can independently be cleared of loot and opponents and reset to be ready for the next run. So the real challenge is to match the degree of guidance, sandbox or structured, to the underlying level of structure in the activity. And now for an update on my giveaways. First, I'll be announcing some special giveaways for the captains in a revised See You at Citizengon package. Also, we have the special skill contest for channel members to earn a chance at a Mariah Guardian or a Misk Fortune. Remember, members, just a little video can get you a nice ship. And then we have the annual IAE Week giveaway coming up for the Shiny Stainless Steel Series shipping ship, the Starlancer Max, and then the Grow the Channel ship giveaway at 20,000 subscribers for the winner's choice of the marvelous multi-role multiplayer mining meta, the Arasta, or the brand new Big Box Bargain Bazaar, the Merchant one. 1 entry per video. Members are entered automatically. Everyone else just subscribe and comment with the secret word. And the secret word for this video is what is currently the one reliable revenue source in Align and Mine. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Danny Raymond for Ray's Guide.